So, that is the final pancakes and power bombs.
Yeah, you know,
How you
this has
feeling?
been a great journey that we've been on, and I'm super stoked because we've done a lot of talking about what's to come with heel turn, and I agree with you, man. Friday nights will never be the same. Let's get it.
Okay. Normal prayers when a God dies. What the future holds when my palms high. Left in my hands and make it alright like yeah. Never let it know your dreams. Put it into a dark regime. Transform the score machine. I ain't had no pot to piss and now I'm frying competition. Burn my way to top position. Scared of heat, fuck out the kitchen. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. I'm frying competition.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Hey, it's final
Good to be
episode,
here
man.
with you.
It is. Hey, it's final episode. Like you said, we've grown a lot in the last year, you'd say?
Oh, absolutely. The difference we've made in a year. You look at the start of when we started the plunder last year, and we've discussed it. My opinion of it is literally based off of, us looking just like two guys on Facebook Live talking about something, and it's turned into a pretty cool thing with pancakes and power bombs, and then going into the second season of the plunder, and now with the transition of heel turn coming forward from pancakes and power bombs. And then last night we actually did the pregame shows for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins, and we had our first big special guest in DeMar Dotson, and that went fantastic. We learned a lot of cool stuff about DeMar. I am such a bigger fan today than I was yesterday at this time of DeMar Dotson.
When Bubba came with her, it was because she was knocking at her door.
Oh, absolutely. And man, there's been a lot going on, and it's cool that we're finally getting to transition to we'll have our football with the plunder, and we're going straight heel turn when it comes to everything going on with the wrestling. One of the things, man, is Bash in Berlin. We got a week? We're a week away from it as of today. A lot of things are shaping up, man, and it's starting to look like a really good international show, especially with AEW having All In popping up tomorrow in London. Before we go further, what are your first thoughts that come to mind when I tell you that?
You know, these things are planned in advance, and the only way for AEW to compete is to compete. And that's just the bottom line. So, obviously back in the day, whoever scheduled which one first, it's been known that the WWE is going to start traveling around the world, and we're going to pop up into cities around the world. And Berlin's just one of the next on the stop, and I think it's kind of convenient, but at the same time, it does help build that. I don't mind a rivalry, but at the same time, I ain't worried about the rival that we have because they're not substantiated as far as the competition goes. And that is not necessarily talking about the talent. That's necessarily the competition in the writing rooms. That's a huge difference. That's a very big difference as far as the level of the product that they put out. So, but I think this is just another example of WWE marking their brand all across the world and making it a bigger circle than what it already is.
Well, and speaking of AEW and tomorrow night, there's a very real possibility a former WWE superstar is going to be making their debut. I'm pretty
I
sure
heard.
you know who I'm guessing or
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Will Ospreay, I don't know if you've seen it, has made a statement towards that. He was talking with Talk Sports, and he downplayed right now and wants him to remind the world that he is one of the best. Now, here's the exact quote. And I want to get your thoughts afterward. I honestly feel like there's been a lot of that he's been downplayed for so bloody long that people have forgotten the real freak athlete that he is. So if it is true and he is coming to AEW, I'm calling you out to remind you, or to remind everybody who the fuck you are, because you're without the shadow of a doubt the man. Dragon Gate, PWG, the indies around the world, no one could fucking touch you. I'm calling you out, bro. I am saying, remind the world, you are one of the best who have ever done this shit. I believe it, and if I believe it, you've got to believe it in yourself now, boss. What are your thoughts on that comment?
You'll appreciate this. Probably one of the last pancake opportunities we'll get. Florida State has just fallen to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Ireland. What a stunning defeat it is. And that, my friends, almost puts us in. Whoa, what's this with the referee? Did the referee do something? Okay. I just looked back up at the TV. No, but yeah, it's 24-21. Georgia Tech, Florida State lost. And they.
Wow. Just inside, bro.
Just inside.
I was watching that replay just
Yeah, I'm
inside.
watching the replay now. That was crazy.
Hey, you know what? Listen, as much bullshit as I give Florida State fans, I'm going to say one thing. Y'all still should be proud just because of that. Y'all played internationally in Dublin, bro.
Georgia Tech came to play today, bro. And I'm not taking away anything from, there was a lot. The defense, listen, Florida State lost five, count them up, 5 first round and the second round draft picks last year. Okay. 3 of them in the first round. Their defense was lights out. And you can't necessarily expect them to be the same, but it's college football, so you got to restock. And one of the big changes has been the transfer portal, and that's been a big difference, especially with the money that these guys are getting now and the contracts that can be offered from school to school. So, that's a big thing. But it was a really good game. I watched the game. It was a very competitive game. Both defenses played very well, considering. But again, you travel across the world to play that kind of stage. It's insane. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
and props to Georgia Tech.
Back to what we were talking a second ago with that comment that I had given you from Will Ospreay. What do you take from it, calling out Ricochet to remind everybody who he really is?
I was one of the Ricochet fans that believed that he wasn't being pushed right. And you go back, he left. I mean, I think he was already done, in my opinion. When Triple H took over, he was already done at that point. It was already too far. But from the beginning, he had the ability to be what everybody even dreamed Rey Mysterio could have been even more of. Like his athletic ability and his in-ring ability is really well. I will say there was a lot of murmurs about his attitude behind the scenes, and that played a part in how they treated him, and deservingly so. So you got to give, to each side. But what I believed is same thing I say about Jameis Winston as an example. If he would have been, starting his career at this time in the WWE, and 4 years from now, we'd see a totally different Ricochet, per se, to what you saw, from his stint in the beginning. So I really believe, especially at AEW, he can really reign high on their food chain very easily.
I was going to say, when it comes to that, I think with him, if he does indeed pop up in AEW, I'm all for it, for the mere fact of you get that type that fits his style, like not cramping anything that he did, in WWE, but that fits his style. And maybe he can go there, raise his stock. By that point, WWE will finally have been able to develop that area, because I do believe there's going to be a point you're going to see that resurgence of your Carmelo Hayes type athlete.
Yeah.
To where they can be your top guy in a way with, your not everyday typical body slam, power bomb, power moves.
Yeah.
Right now it is your power guy moment.
Yeah.
Down the line, I can see that even I mean, it doesn't have to be the undisputed title or the world heavyweight title, but it'll be one down the line. You'll have that moment. That's where you can enter Ricochet maybe back into the photo within 2-3 years, man. Let him go raise his stock. I don't think it's necessarily a downfall if he goes to them. Yeah, it's going to be a culture shock. And not to take a shot per se, but you're not in front of thousands and thousands of fans. You're in different type of venues. Now AEW is putting out the bigger shows lately. Like, I'll give them props for when I watched Dynamite the other night. They had a packed house, and they were about in the same place over in Ireland that WWE had success a few months previously. That being said, I'm not really mad to see them have fans, because it gives you the alternative. It really does. It brings you in a new audience. You can tell they're trying to do something to get that TV deal. I'm okay with it. We do, bro. I would not mind being able to watch and I am gonna watch AEW here more often on Wednesdays, just to get, because if I'm gonna critique it, I at least gotta pay attention to it. Correct? It's only fair. Plus, we don't have anything going on Wednesdays, really, anyways.
No, and like I'm a big fanboy of some of the wrestlers over there. Like Daniel Bryan's one of my favorite guys. I'm a big Daniel Bryan.
Daniel, speaking of that, he faced.
Did you see that thing with Swerve the other night?
I was gonna say, he takes on Swerve Strickland, title for retirement or for career. There's a part of me thinking Daniel Bryan's gonna win, because I'm feeling Yes Movement coming AEW style.
Yeah.
And and bro, he always has to wear that damn green plaid fucking shirt when he wants to retire.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I feel a Yes Movement coming in AEW. I feel him having that moment, dropping the title to somebody soon. I don't see it being a long time. He can't do it. I'd be like wanting to give CM Punk a year-long title reign at this point.
Yeah, right.
Their body just don't hold up.
So let me ask you this about Daniel Bryan. Do you take his claim serious to be the best wrestler in the world?
No. He's a workhorse, bro. He's one of the best as a workhorse in the industry. I don't think he's the best wrestler in the world, but I do think if you put him on a Mount Rushmore of indie darlings that have had success in the WWE, he would be up there. I mean, I'll give hats off to him for what he's done, and I see you acknowledging.
He's the best out there.
There's a handful of guys that I can tell you in the time frame that would.
Daniel Bryan is the best technical wrestler in the business.
Technical wrestler, yes.
Easily.
Best technical wrestler in the game in the last decade, all that, yes.
Easily.
I will give him that.
But he cannot, from the company standpoint, do what Roman Reigns has done. Clear cut.
Yeah, he's not your guy. He's not the guy that you put the company on your back.
No.
AEW could do it for.
And I'm a huge fan of Daniel Bryan, but I can admit that.
Oh, dude, I love having Daniel Bryan on a roster. Like, he brings energy, man. He brings a different type of chemistry.
Yeah, a whole different level. Absolutely. Fans connect with him because of who he is.
So, let's get into our heel turns, per se.
Okay.
Before we do that, let's take a look at what we got coming up with this brand new flip.
Sun's coming up as you look to the skies, go down to the water and bathe in the light. Oh my love, oh my love. Angels will sing, whisper words of the heart as I'm holding you close. Keep a shelter from the dark. Oh my love.
What are your thoughts on what we got?
You know,
first things first, man. Bash in Berlin. Go ahead.
Bash at Berlin is probably what I'm waiting for, because it's what Bash at Berlin is going to do for me is set up one of my favorite pay-per-views. I'm with you. Bad Blood. You know, I like those matches. They try to take on a different form in that season. So, you know, and that being this new creative style is something I'm highly anticipating. So for me, and then having what we have coming up this Monday in a match involving the Wyatt Six beginning. So, you know, what I see at Bash at Berlin as being a build-up and a setup. So you can expect all kind of fireworks. Things are going to happen to throw things in the mix and make it more interesting, because, man, let me tell you, when they go across seas, they put on a show every single time.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. Because it's an international show, bro, and it's in Berlin. I don't think I've ever recalled.
Germany is huge wrestling fans. Huge.
I can't recall the last time I've known WWE in Berlin.
No.
Not on PLE.
It's been a while. No, it's been a while. Yeah, especially not a PLE.
So, speaking of matches leading up to Bad Blood, I got one that I think's easily leading up to Bad Blood, and it'll be fun to see how this shit continues. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are going to be in a strap match. This seems kind of goofy in a way. Because, come on, man, it's a strap match. You know, these things are brutal, but they feel more gimmicky than anything. What's your thoughts on this, man? But CM Punk says he's gonna whip a bitch.
Well, think about who CM Punk's related to. Dusty Rhodes, right? That strap match goes back in his lineage, as far as probably something he's very familiar with how to use. And it keeps both of them tied together to an extent to where they can't separate too far from each other. So there's nowhere to run, during that match. Now, you throw in a potential surprise return in Seth Rollins coming off of what he might have went through.
We're going to have to pause this real quick.
Go down to the wall and bathe in the light, oh my love. Oh my love. Angels will sing, whisper words on the heart as I'm holding you close. Keep a shelter from the dark, oh my love.
We're back after that little break we had to take. And we're going to talk Terror Twins.
Ooh,
They're set to face, bro. Dom and Liv at Bash at Berlin. Now, it's not the street fight that I was predicting, but there's a lot of shit that could happen in this. Before I get to my prediction on how I see this shit ending, what is your thoughts on this initial on this initial match?
It's, to me, I think it's definitely a build up to one direction, and that is Rhea and Liv. I think at Bad Blood is where Rhea is going to put an end to Liv and get her championship back. I personally think that this is the beginning of the feud with the new Judgment Day that Damian Priest is going to begin in. And I believe that Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley will come out the victors against this. But I again think that it's a perfect match. It's been a long time since we've had a good, dual men and women's match, per se, mixed tags. That's been really interesting. And this is a really interesting one because, to be honest with you, at this point, even Dom, they're all great competitors in the ring, and the chemistry between all four of them is going to be really good too. So that's going to make for a fun match. But I predict Rhea and Damian to come out the victors.
I do as well. Now, the one thing I'm interested to see is where this continues to go. Now, you mentioned a new form of Judgment Day that Damian's building. I don't know necessarily if it's a new form of a Judgment Day. I think at this point, Damian's only thought is tearing this shit apart. Because we had talked about it before.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. His feud with them.
Well, I think at this point, this could be one of those long-term stories of maybe Finn and Liv do tear up the Judgment Day from the inside out. And they all kind of look at Rhea and Damian to help them. And this could be a long-term effect. It doesn't have to be like 6 months from, or like 6 weeks from now, or 6 months from now, bro. What if it's a year from now? What if it's what if they let this new form go, and they kind of, you get Finn, get the guys he wants, but what if they kind of maybe semi-aligns with a Bullet Club build? There's a lot that could go with Finn leading this Judgment Day, man.
Yeah, there's so many directions they can go, and I kind of feel that they're starting to build Finn Balor a little bit in that direction. And if they start to get momentum on Finn Balor's side, that would lead me more and more into a Bullet Club faction in the WWE. They have actually thrown. There's been times where we've heard shots of the Bullet Club being mentioned on WWE. So it's not beyond the realm of likelihood for them to actually, there are what, 5 or 6 people that we counted one day that are actually former members of the Bullet Club that are in the WWE right now. There's plenty of guys to make a faction right now. So that being said, there's so many other ways, and that's not what I just discussed. So I'm excited to see what direction they can go with this. But I tell you what, with what I've seen lately of Damian Priest and what I know of Finn Balor and what I have the idea of as far as Dominic, I'm still not sold on JD McDonough as far as a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. This could be a fun thing. This could be almost like a bloodline storyline, with similar longevity, not the same.
It almost feels like it is without it being bloodline. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah,
or a family
it's the same
per
but different.
se.
It's the same but different.
My prediction with this is Rhea's going to pin Liv and set up their match at Bad Blood. That's going to be in a Hell in a Cell for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I don't know if this put, Rhea as the winner, but this is where you got to end the feud. You got to end the feud because, this is going to be your reminiscent match, right, per se, because this is the anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell and the match at Bad Blood. So,
yeah,
and it's what, I believe 30 years at this point. So the females are going to be, especially Liv and Rhea, students of the game, to really want to retell the Hell in a Cell from a woman's standpoint. I'm going to get in. My guess is both Hell in a Cell matches hail from the Raw brand. The second one is going to be Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, which I alluded to a few months ago. The strap match leads into the Hell in a Cell. They retell the story of, I believe, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker? Or was this Undertaker Mankind?
No, this was the Undertaker Mankind was 3.
Okay. But regardless of who this is, they are going to tell that story because those two are real historians when it comes to the business. And we've seen it in their last match, especially with their attire, with McIntyre, dressing as The Undertaker and CM Punk dressing as his idol and Bret Hart. But I think you give Rhea the pinfall, you set up the rematch at Bad Blood for the championship, and you put it to rest. I don't know where the story goes from there. Because if Rhea loses, I don't know what you do with her. It's still her division per se. But
to me, there could be only one thing. If you remember the advertisement, for the Netflix at the Fanatics Fan Fest, Charlotte Flair was on that advertisement.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to me, what I was thinking, like when I was thinking about this match the other day, watching something on TikTok, and I'm like, if Rhea ends up losing at Bad Blood and they continue to keep Liv as the champion, what does that mean for Liv? I got it. She's the champ. What does that mean for Rhea? Well, maybe Charlotte, because that would be a clear-cut reason, because you don't need a title between them two. Come on.
I mean,
be real.
Well, we'll be real. Charlotte Flair always makes a return and ends up in the title picture and ends up with the title.
And see, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe Charlotte comes in and builds a feud with Rhea, moves her out of the way,
So
and then takes the title from Liv.
You get Charlotte and Rhea 3. Because I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm really not.
Yeah, I'm predicting maybe Charlotte comes in at Bad Blood and helps Rhea or helps Liv win in a manner of speaking by attacking Liv or Rhea. Then they have a feud. You get Charlotte and Rhea 3, and then after that, she gets a title with Liv, and Liv loses the title to Charlotte.
See, I'll tell you right now, if I get Charlotte and Rhea 3, I need that shit to be for the title because it was for the first 2 times. And that would be, just off the top of my head, bro, that would easily be a WrestleMania 41 card.
At main event.
Like, if you brought Charlotte back.
Main event.
If you brought Charlotte back and you had Liv and Rhea, okay, you know what? I'll go with it booking wise. Liv beat Rhea clean at Bad Blood.
Right.
Amidst all that, and comes Charlotte. Of course, you get Charlotte back in the mist. You get Charlotte and Rhea, not 3, but you get them going at it. Just, and you don't get to come back in and make a title. You go after it. You get her to pin Rhea in some way. Maybe Liv interferes. Somebody interferes. Dom. Charlotte picks up victory. And you know what? I guess you do have to throw the title on Charlotte by this point. And this would be what? November, December time frame.
Survivor Series.
You really don't have to rush that one. But you get that involved. You get Rhea helping Charlotte, taking out Liv. Or Rhea helps take out everything Liv has. And then at WrestleMania, you get Rhea and Charlotte 3 for the title. And at that point,
maybe you get Rhea winning Royal Rumble.
I was thinking Rhea winning the Elimination Chamber to be the one to go on. She would be the non-title Elimination Chamber match with the winner going on to face so-and-so at WrestleMania. Because they still do that in the sense you get one title in the elimination, and the other one's usually a non-title. So for the non-title, I say for 2025, all women, and the winner. And I'll tell you right now, bro, you take the top two from the Women's Royal Rumble that didn't win, and then you put a wild card in that motherfucker for the 5th member. And it could be anybody, bro. It could be Rhea. Maybe Rhea wasn't in the Royal Rumble, so she feels that she earns it. So she goes through whatever tournament they come up with and qualifies. Why not? That'd be compelling. Or an NXT superstar. Don't leave them out. So you get two Raw, 2 SmackDown, and maybe 1 NXT person.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of compelling. But again, you have Rhea walking out of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
To go and face. At this point, we're predicting Charlotte. And that's where you get, bro, Rhea and Charlotte 3 in Vegas.
Get out of here.
That's money to me.
You know who wins that match? I can predict who wins that match right now. Charlotte Flair's injuries.
Well, to be fair, if we're gonna go for the title at WrestleMania with Rhea and Charlotte, I'm gonna go with who has already got the edge the last 2 times. Mommy. Mommy's always come out on top of Charlotte.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see
you know what, man,
Charlotte. I can't
I'd
see.
be all for it.
No.
You really don't need, bro. Do you really need Charlotte to have a fucking long title reign? She's already
No,
sitting
it's not about the
where her
title
dad.
reign. It's not about the title reign. She's not going to take 3 losses to this woman.
I think Charlotte is a lot like her dad.
Not going to happen.
She's willing to put people. She's willing to put people over for the next gen. I don't think she's as in that mode as she was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Early Charlotte, bro, absolutely. And I mean, you've seen the shit with Bailey. You've seen it with Sasha. Anybody was in a 4 horsewoman, bro. She took it personally. Anybody that stepped up to her of the older generation, bro, she took it personally. Now, I don't think she really. I think it's like a John Cena thing, man. Like, Charlotte Flair might be the greatest women's champion of all time, like surpassing Trish, surpassing Lita, Mickey James, any of it, bro. You name it. You name the women's champion, bro, and I will tell you right now, I believe Charlotte is still goated over them. And I'm not a fan of Charlotte. I respect the game. And I said it, she's a lot like her dad when it comes to it. Now, keeping it in women's action, if I heard it correctly, at Bash at Berlin, we know we're getting Michin versus Nia Jax for the women's title. Put in a street fight?
That's going to be crazy.
And Michin, I almost called her Mia Yim. Same person. But Michin's vowed to remind Nia and everybody and who she really is, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. Because Michin's a bad bitch, bro. Now, not bad enough that she's going to defeat Nia, unfortunately. But it's going to be interesting. Before I get into what I want to talk about on it next, what are your initial thoughts on this match?
I agree. I can't wait. It's going to be, you know, and I'd like to think that it's going to be just them two, but it's probably not. Especially since there's going to be no DQ. You can expect Tiffany Stratton show up because these are two mauling chicks, you know. So, I mean, we almost got exposed, if you will, to Michin last time we saw her on camera. She had a little wardrobe slippage when she attacked them backstage. But, you know, I think it's going to be a very good match, and I think it's a well-deserved match for Michin because she's showed up. She's been really tough lately. You know, she's performed in the spots, and you know, it's good to see her get a title match.
Now, Chelsea Green, following the interview with Nia, was caught talking to Piper and thinks Tiffany Stratton might cash in, trying to plant the seed in the Queen's head. I don't think it happens yet. But bro, that's Nia's got to keep eyes in the back of her head, man. I could see that being a big thing coming forward.
Yeah, definitely. That's really going to start heating up. But as far as this match goes, I do see Nia coming out the victor. As far as her title reign, it's not definitely going to end at Berlin. I do believe that it's going to be, you know, I honestly believe that if you look at Bad Blood, if you look at it from that perspective, who does she have bad blood with? And, it's kind of hard to maybe Bailey, coming back in the picture after this, that would be the only one that I could see having bad blood with Nia Jax. So if you don't have that aspect to it in the match, the only logical expectation is to get Tiffany Stratton to cash in here in Berlin, take the title, and then get the title back from Tiffany Stratton at Bad Blood, in a theory. So,
Well, the other person I could kind of see at Bad Blood maybe possibly going for the title would be Naomi, because I'm predicting at Berlin, Jade and Bianca get their title back.
okay.
And there's some bad blood there between Naomi and Nia.
You're absolutely right.
Especially if you really want to get in detail with it. But that's something that you really should keep an eye on. Is that could be a possible match, man. Like,
yes,
that would be that would be fun to see. Like, that would really be a fun match to see. But at that point, maybe at that point, man, is when you get Tiffany cashing in and beating, winning. And it being, oh, my queen, I was doing it to save your title. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah. I agree. That would be a nice shot. I like it.
Now, moving on to keeping it in Bloodline, SmackDown, titles. We talked about it earlier, too. The possibility of a triple threat match for the World Tag Team titles. We're thinking, I think we're in agreement, Bloodline, DIY, Street Profits.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, like, that is a dream match for Berlin, man. Like, whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah, there's only, to me, you used to could say New Day, but there's only one tag team that can make that tag team match any better, and that's the Usos. Like, literally, that's a fantastic three-way match. Look, I am not a fan of Tonga Loa. But he did surmount the beginning of a streak, by not botching. But it's definitely something to because if you didn't know that Solo was kind of putting Jacob and saying, "Hey, I need you as my enforcer. You don't need to hold on to the belt. I got big plans for you."
I was gonna say, why did I feel like that was a call out in a way to Tonga Loa? Of, bro, I can't be having Jacob do my dirty work if he's a damn tag team champion.
I kind of felt that way when I saw that, but like, you need to do your job, bro, kind of thing. So, but at the same time, you look at everybody else in that match. Like, DIY is fantastic. I think they're 10 times better together than they are as singles wrestlers. And the Street Profits, bro, they're just fantastic in the ring, and I'm glad to see them in the title picture again, because that's where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for more things with it. I'm hoping when you put this match together, I'm hoping at the end of it, bro, Street Profits do walk out with the gold. Because it's been a long time since they've had gold around their waist. And they have done a lot. Since they've had gold, you've had Montez Ford being teased as a single star. They've gone through how many different, in a way, transformations. You tried to get him to go heel for a minute. Nobody really buys into it. And now you get them, you know, this push with post Bobby Lashley. You got to get these guys back to where they were when you brought them into the main roster a few years ago, because you're starting to bury probably one of the most intriguing and interesting tag teams of this last decade. Street Profits have come like when they burst onto the scene with the "We Want the Smoke." They really proved that they can handle the smoke.
The athleticism of both of them is yet to be even talked about and pointed out, and that's one of the main reasons we're talking about them. Those dudes, even like Montez, it was rumored a little while back that Montez Ford was actually thinking about making a transition into the UFC. That's how physically in shape and how much of an athlete this guy is. And then, you know, the big guy, one of my favorites, like, have you seen that guy literally leap over the ring ropes and like get down and like make moves? And it's really impressive what that guy can do in the ring.
Nobody realized how athletic Dawson really is, bro. Like Angelo Dawkins is a fucking dude. Like, he is insane. No, you're not gonna see him doing the flips and shit like you get Montez doing. Like, Montez is just a freak athlete himself. But when you put Dawkins in it, bro, and what he can do for his size, that's why I'm saying, bro, the time that you put them titles back on, because, yeah, if you're going to hand that title over to Tongaloa, Solo's telling me that he's okay with the Bloodline losing them titles.
It's either the titles or the head of the table.
Yeah, it's either the titles or you got Jacob Fatu saving your ass.
And they ain't gonna have that.
Man, it is. But, hey, you know what? Think about this shit. We were talking about Jacob was being held back because he was going to outshine Solo. Tell me this isn't a creative way to fucking outshine Solo without making him really look weak.
By having Jacob be his do-boy.
Yeah. You have him be your enforcer.
But see, that's the perfect lead. That would be a perfect lead into the, in my opinion, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Jacob Fatu will turn on Solo very soon, in my opinion.
I mean, either that or he's the enforcer for The Rock. And
maybe
we're just not
maybe goes back to your story that Jacob Fatu and The Rock take out Solo and send him packing.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
It very well could happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. When Solo was the enforcer, I dug the whole persona side to him. As the head of the table, 2.0, 86509, as Montez put it. I don't know if I'm buying it 100%. I mean, I get it. It's a warm fucking spot in the story to keep Solo going until Roman can take back over. But come on, man! Like, you really could have had a handful of other guys.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, this is where I think it is time that you do give Street Profits their gold back.
I think that after the way they had that match, and then you had that, you know, after the match was won, obviously it was won because of Jacob Fatu. And then DIY came in after, you know, the Bloodline jumped on the Street Profits. And I, you know, was like, you know, here it goes. This is my time. We've talked about them. We've popped them in on the show, you know, speaking their shooting them their flowers of how they're coming back and they're building momentum. And yeah, since Bobby Lashley left, I don't think he was holding them back. I think, yeah, he was holding them back. It really didn't work with them at all, in my opinion. It almost come off as a jobber, situation for them when they were with Bobby. But it's definitely something that I think they're gonna do. I kind of agree with you. I think they're gonna come out victors and win the title.
Keeping it on SmackDown for a minute. We're going to talk U.S. champion. LA Knight announced last night that he's issuing an open challenge for the U.S. title at Bash in Berlin. Who shows up to answer that challenge?
Oh, you could get what's his name from what's his name from the Hispanic group?
Santos
Escobar.
I mean,
that would be it's not a likelihood. Say again.
I was going to say you could do that, but LA Knight already defeated him last night. If you think about it, that puts him back at the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know. Who would you see?
I'm thinking John Cena.
Oh.
Because
you can't see.
And I see that you can't see me. Absolutely. I see that you can't see me coming out and accepting that open challenge, because that's how John Cena initially became U.S. champion. That's how he built up that title. But
yeah,
you're not gonna give Cena the U.S. championship, not in the retirement year.
No, I don't.
You need it. There's no reason that Cena can't take an easy L and help put over LA Knight, because that's really what this run's going to be about. I already know
I don't see Cena breaking Ric Flair's record. What I do see, if they put a title on him, I see it being the Intercontinental Championship.
If they put the title on him, I could see it being an Intercontinental and complete the Grand Slam.
Yes, that's what I believe. If they put a title on him, that's what I see. I don't think he'll do.
If they do give him a title run, it'll be brief. It'll be he wins it in his final match, and then retires the next night, relinquishing the title.
Yeah, I can't see. I can't see Triple H. I can't see Triple H giving Flair's record to Cena. I don't see that happening.
I could if you had. I mean, especially with the shit Flair's been involved in. Hunter's not been 100% behind it. Hunter, I mean, he's been open with it. It's still his boy, but he's had issues.
Yeah,
but I think you talk to Rick at that point, and hey, we're thinking of this. If he gave his blessing, bro, why not?
I mean, if Rick gives his blessing, that's a different story.
What if Rick has already given his blessing, but Cena just ain't there yet?
You want my opinion? Cena's a really humble guy, but you know who he says is the greatest wrestler of all time, don't you?
Who?
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but Cena's a lot of...
Now, what I'm going to say to that is, if we've got, let's just say, because you take age into factor and look at Cena's age, and when the last time he won a title was 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
He's in his mid to late 50s. So he was right at 40 years old when he won his last title ish. you know. So maybe we've got 10 years of Roman still, if we're lucky. Okay, let's just say if we're lucky. A few more title reigns, like let's just say 2 to 3 more title reigns, and I can make claim that Roman Reigns is the greatest wrestler of all time. But I think he needs a couple more.
Yeah, but Roman technically needs quite a few.
He's only got what, 2 or 3?
Roman?
I mean, but you take into consideration the almost decade of dominance. It feels like.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm absolutely.
And that's why I'm saying he doesn't have to have 16. So you give the guy like 8 to 10 because he's got a 3.5-year reign. It seemed like, you know. So, like, you give him those flowers, and in that case, I pretty much would qualify him as the greatest of all time. Because it's not, I'm saying he has title reigns. I'm not saying he wins it this one and loses to the next one, but like he has 2 to 3 good more title reigns, bro. Because what I see is Triple H transferring these titles into something with prestige, and they're not just going to be tossed around like a freaking whore, you know?
All right, so he's a 4-time WWE champion and a 2-time Universal champion.
Okay, so that's 6 championships. So one of those championships
you need 11 more. You need 11. I wouldn't. Okay, so Roman might be the greatest champion of all time, but you're talking title. You're talking number of championship wins. I'd give it to Cena. Cena did put WWE on his back for a hot ass minute. Yeah, he was the face of the company for a hot ass minute. He was there. He was the yes boy. He was the do boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let him. Maybe you let him break that record. Call it a day. Somebody I believe should get that record more than anything would be Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Abso-fucking-lutely.
I don't know if his body holds up enough to get 3 more title reigns.
And that's why I think Ric Flair should stay the record holder.
No, if anybody could do it besides Randy Orton, bro, I think John Cena, because Cena and Orton, bro,
Cena could definitely be that guy, but
well, everybody talks about Cena and Batista being those guys of that era. Everybody overlooked Randy Orton, bro.
Everybody. He
was coming in, and he wasn't your typical powerhouse.
I did until he turned to the Viper, and when he became the Viper, it was over.
Bro, when he started with the whole Legend Killer persona. Well, when he beat Jericho, when he beat RVD for the Intercontinental title, for his first ever title. That right there just tells you they were going to put something with this dude. And then to be the youngest world heavyweight champion, to do it before Batista.
Yeah.
That had to hold some weight. And then you've had him in this mix for years, man. Dave went and did Hollywood. And yes, he's made good movies. I'm not knocking him as an actor. But he realized that this wasn't for him. Randy stuck it out through all of it. The end of the Attitude, the Ruthless Aggression, the PG era, and everything and what we're falling into now. And then he'll be around for Netflix. Why not let this man have it?
I agree.
I mean, one of them could easily be he wins the title, gets beat the next night, and it'd be one of those, somebody interferes in the rematch, so he doesn't get the opportunity then. Then it's, I'm going to go chase the title. Then he gets the title again. Maybe he holds it for a little bit, loses it. Maybe he's the one that wins it and then retires. What are your thoughts on it?
You know, Randy, he's had a lot of outs in the last few years. Cena has been away doing his thing in Hollywood. Some of the things are really bombing. Poor guy. Because he's actually a funny type of actor, in my opinion. A funny action actor, you know. But, like, when it comes to this, like, Batista, I agree that the time that the wrestling was what it wasn't for him. You know, he was built for a time like we're fixing to see. You know, I think he would have thrived in this era. But he's way past his prime. I mean, if you've seen him, he looks like a third of himself physically. Not that he's not, you know, physically in shape. He's just way smaller. When you stop lifting weights on that level and do what he's doing, you know, you lose that size.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I've always been a Randy fan, and I've always been a John Cena fan, and I was always a Batista fan. And look here, I think the best all-around WWE superstar was John Cena. I believe Randy Orton is the best in-ring performer of their era. Period. Bar none. Between the promos and the matches and the physicality and carrying a story, Randy Orton is one of the best in-ring performers from that standpoint. Now, I'm not using the term technical wrestler or anything. Performer.
Cena's the greatest champion of all time. I mean,
A lot
look at the
of
numbers.
Cena was predictable, and that was his downfall.
Yeah. But
that was his
like when
niche,
it comes to,
if I would say.
When it comes to Orton, his title reigns, to me, carried more significance. Cena
Absolutely.
was that company guy, and you could tell he was if Hunter was in charge of creative, at the same time both guys came up. Granted, there'd be some storylines missing because both guys did cross paths with Hunter, but if it wasn't a Vince McMahon run product, you wouldn't have had John Cena being pushed as heavily. Because I've already, like I alluded to, Orton's had previous issues in the, you know, in backstage. Cena is, like we said, your yes man, your do boy. You build your company around that little smiling face, the guy that goes and will grant every make-a-wish, because we heard in his documentary, the guy dedicated himself to WWE. No harm, no foul. Cena was all right with being held to that standard. Orton did want to do things his own way on a lot of things, but it worked with it. Like, I mean, it worked out for both of them, in my opinion.
Right.
But I think if you were to put both of them up and say who is the greatest of all time, if you take championships out of it, you get overwhelmingly majority of the response would be Randy Orton.
I can buy that.
Now, moving on from the John Cena, Randy Orton, and even the U.S. title, the man who formerly held the U.S. Championship, Logan Paul's in a little bit more hot water recently after a social media post popped up of his dog, Broly, jumping from a boat. Some fans are calling that a publicity stunt, believing the former YouTube influencer had set the stunt up to make it look like he was rescuing his dog. I haven't seen the video. you had, that was the first time you're really hearing about it. Hearing this though, what are your? I mean, is this a publicity stunt, man? Like, before we dive deeper into everything that's going on with Logan lately, like, do you believe this young man would do something of this nature?
Yeah. To answer your question directly.
Okay.
Do I necessarily think that on this case, I haven't seen personally any footage. I read a small clip about it earlier. But let's just play the devil's advocate, if it is true, okay? This is the second notable situation that he has been involved in outside of the bubble of the WWE. And that serves as a problem majorly because of his ties with sponsorships. So, what do you do? I mean, you cut ties, that loses a lot of money generated by this sponsorship partnership that they've got.
Yeah.
But, you know, excuse me, I totally just, you know, you can't keep putting that kind of image on the screen of television and expect people to support you, because you'll gain 20 fans over here, but you'll lose 30 fans over here, because this world today is full of Karens, and that is not good for business. So the best way, and I think you're kind of thinking this too, is to kind of separate, kind of, hey, take some, take a step into the shadows for a little bit and see what you can figure out, because, you got to figure this out or we're all going to be in a loss here very soon.
Well, and I know what you're talking about, and I'm on that same page. Like, not releasing Logan Paul, bro, because one, under old regime, absolutely, bro, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Under new management, new regime, TKO, Hunter, Nick Khan, I don't think you release Logan Paul. I think you kind of distance yourself for the moment. He's going to be, helping his brother Jake train to fight Mike. Of course, he's been, open about it. That he's going to be helping with cardio of that nature.
Yeah.
Maybe in that time frame, you give him, say, hey, figure out what's going on, bro. Because between the lawsuit from the boxer, the Olympic boxer, to this coming out now, I've seen certain reports, Prime, not selling bottles like they were promising, stuff like that. The Prime, you don't take away from WWE right now, because I think that is a positive partnership, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's doing a lot of positives for the brand, both brands. I mean, granted, it's a hydration station and a logo in the ring, but I think it's garnering some, a lot of work.
So I mean, they did get into partnership with the guy that they knew what he did and how he became who he was. So it's not like it would be a big shocker. So I buy what you're saying.
Yeah, and this is one of those, you keep it under the microscope, you keep an eye on it, you distance yourself for an extent, and say, hey, while you're away, you need to take care of this, figure out what's going on with it, and, when you're ready to come back after your brother, you let us know what's going on, and we can assess it.
Yeah, I agree. Time off.
Yeah, like if more details come out, bro, and yes, he's guilty, and this is more than publicity stunt and shit like that, and it does fall into like animal cruelty, animal neglect, then yeah, I would be my tone would change. You need to release the guy. You need to get rid of him because it's a bad image.
Absolutely.
But we're not at that point, so I'm not going to go there.
I agree.
That being said, we're going to talk a few things from Raw coming up. It was announced, man. It's going to be a lot of meat slapping going on Monday night. You get Braun Strowman taking on Bronson Reed. It's gonna be earthquake. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, this is definitely a matchup that can build up both guys, but I think it's going to build up one guy. It could really build back up Braun Strowman, but because of who Braun Strowman was, they're going to watch Bronson Reed beat Braun Strowman on Monday night. They're building Bronson Reed, and I think it's a great way. You've seen what he's done over the last few weeks to these former champions. But let me tell you, with these guys going at it, and then Bronson Reed comes out the victor in a fairly dominant way, that familiar to what he's done, to the last few weeks. Now he's done it to smaller guys, and yeah, Seth is a smaller guy, but he's no slouch. But he had just had a match, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, Seth had just gotten involved with the CM Punk Drew McIntyre bullshit.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, so I can see that. I can see Bronson Reed. That's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. Bronson Reed coming out the victor against this. So I think it's a good thing, because I think he deserves to be at the top. We need some good heavyweights at the top.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I think Bronson does come out over Braun.
Yeah.
But it's good, bro. I don't know. Do you bring Braun back? You just keep losing?
See, that's the.
It seems like every time he's on the stream, bro, he can't pick up a win.
And that's kind of the problem with thinking that, is I have taken that into consideration, but what else do you have for Braun Strowman? Do you stop the momentum that Bronson Reed has? Does he lose momentum losing to a Braun Strowman? That's something you got to ask yourself. And for me, with where Braun Strowman is with the company, I say it's a loss is kind of hurting Bronson Reed as opposed to helping him.
I mean, you could all see this is also one you could turn into the Seth Rollins come back and attack Bronson Reed, and it could be a DQ and nobody wins. Is it do you get R-Truth coming back? It sounds stupid. But does R-Truth come back and try to avenge what Bronson did?
That's possible. Especially since, I mean, you look, he didn't really take out the Miz per se. So look, there could be a whole little calamity of stuff that you can come away from not having this. But you saying that kind of makes me feel like that's even more logical, because I think one of the other losing is bad for both of them right now.
It is, like, especially for me, man. You don't bring Braun Strowman back just to have him losing all these matches, because it's one of those you might as well just put him with the Wyatt Six, and really gave me a sixth person.
Right.
Which I know we all speculated he'd be a person, but with reports coming out that he's kind of doing his own thing, yeah. I feel it was a stupid move.
Honestly, for him, maybe not the Wyatts.
Yeah. Speaking of Wyatt,
because I like the fact that the entity of Bray Wyatt as the sixth member, I believe that makes better for the storyline.
Yeah, it's more compelling.
Yes. Yes.
So that being said, the leader of the Wyatt Six, Uncle Howdy's making his in-ring debut on Monday night against Chad Gable. I don't really see this going too far. I'm just going to be upfront. This is your DQ match, hands down as well.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to just give Uncle Howdy a complete squash match with Chad Gable and ruin all that momentum, or there's going to be interference. And maybe this will be a match added to Berlin. Because that would be fun. And if you don't add it to Berlin, you add it to Bad Blood. This has to be a Bad Blood match.
I actually am excited to see this match tremendously. First off, I'm a Bo Dallas fan. He's a pretty good wrestler. You started to see a lot of growth towards the end of his run with WWE the last time before he went away. And when Bray came back and then this Uncle Howdy character started to come to fruition towards the end of Bray Wyatt's run with WWE, I was highly excited to see him back and finally see what Bray Wyatt had dreamed of his whole life, was him and his brother, doing this together. They did it in the Indies together, and that's how they formed their names. And it was really cool watching them grow. I was a fan of their fathers, Mike Rotunda.
Oh, yeah. Bro, Mike and Barry Rotunda.
Barry Windham, yeah. Barry Rotunda, yeah. Yeah. Woof, that lariat, bro. Let me tell you what. JBL and Barry Windham probably had the baddest lariats I've ever seen from a wrestler of all time. And JBL, man, he'd throw a lariat on your ass quick.
Shit, JBL popped up in AAA. You can see that?
Yes, I seen that with the one, the only Nick Nemeth.
Nick Nemeth.
But for this match here, I'm excited. But I can see the build still happening. I mean, and I'm a fan, even though I understand the storylines. I'm becoming impatient, but I get it. I think it makes better to hold this out. And I'm with you. I think there's an interference, and I think it's from the All-American side, American-made side. That causes the Bash at Berlin match that they schedule later in the night. Or is this a main event tomorrow?
I think I'm thinking it's main event.
You would almost have to call this main event. So that would be a scheduled online kind of thing you'd see.
Yeah, so that would be something you'd see announced. And if they don't do it at Berlin, then you get it at Bad Blood. There's no way.
Why would you not bring that to Berlin? That would be a bad move.
Depending on how it is.
I mean, what's the
card
looking
almost
like
something
right
I would
now?
like to see for Bad Blood.
What's the card looking like? You got who's?
Give me 1 second. As of right now, I know you got Cody and KO, Randy and Gunther, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Terror Twins versus Judgment Day, Unholy Union, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. They potentially adding a U.S. title with the Open Challenge.
Yeah.
And that is the only one that they're saying could be added. So that looks like something you're going to have to, depending on the outcome, that's something that gets looked at
That's
for
6 matches.
Bad Blood.
That sounds like a full card to me.
Yeah. So maybe that's something you get building up the Bad Blood.
Yes.
That would be That would be a very interesting thing, because that is where
ending.
that's where the Wyndhams are really known in. Think of WCW. Where are they located? Where's headquarters? Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Where was WWF doing a lot of their shit back in the day? Atlanta, Georgia. Outside of Stanford. They did a lot of shit in the Mid-South.
Yes, they did.
So I could see that being a big thing for it.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle also being a 1996 Olympic gold medalist in Atlanta, I maybe could see him endorsing this Wyatt thing and jumping on with American Made.
It'd be good to see him as a heel.
Not even maybe just as a have him in the match would be fun, but to just even go out there and do your thing moment would be cool.
Yeah,
like
and then
deep down, I would love
him out.
Like one day, I would love to just Kurt Angle and Team Angle, even though Shelton Benjamin's not around in WWE anymore, but I have Team Angle versus this American Made. Just whether it's a match, whether it's a passing of the torch, whatever it is, it could be something that we really could use in a way, because this is where American Made's going, man. Like there's no
doubt.
ifs, ands, or buts.
No doubt.
Speaking though of an Atlanta, Georgia native, man, while we're getting off the topic of Raw and kind of come to the closings, I got a couple little to talk about. Dory Funk Jr. is now the oldest active wrestler at 83 years old, as he competed last night at CMLL on the debut, or not on the debut, on the anniversary of his brother Dory Funk, or his cousin Dory Funk's death.
Wow.
How do you feel, bro? I thought Ric Flair. I still thought Ric Flair was the oldest wrestler.
That's how I feel. I'm 44 years old. Let me say that by saying this. I grew up watching Terry Funk, Ric Flair, Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson, Chief Wahoo McDaniel, Cactus Jack, for anybody that's old enough. So, like, to hear that he actually is still in a wrestling ring is a phenomenal thing to hear. And all I got to say is, hell yeah.
Jimmy Hart was on a podcast and said if Hunter were to call him, he's open to a WWE return.
Great.
We were talking before the show.
Yeah.
He had named one tag team and 2 singles wrestlers that he would love to manage. Can you take a wild guess?
You think about what kind of person Jimmy Hart is, okay? My first inclination is heel, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking at a heel. He's arrogant, flamboyant, cocky, and sneaky, like a weasel. Like if a weasel had a baby with a grizzly bear, that would be Jimmy Hart.
I'd love to see Jimmy Hart and Paul Heyman promo it off.
What? Are you kidding me? Yeah, baby. Pretty Deadly would be a tag team I could see him with.
That was the name. That was the tag team.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, I could see Pretty Deadly.
That would be fun having all of them coming out in pink.
Yeah, dude, like the Pretty Deadly. Now, the woman, and I'm also trying to scour my brain for NXT women, but I'm gonna mainly stay with the WWE main roster. Chelsea Green.
You're
be my guess.
Really warm.
Okay.
Really warm. Piper Niven.
Piper Niven. I started to say that when I thought about, wait a minute, he said really warm.
He had stated that she is really close. He had stated that she is really close to World Championship material. He believes that she has it. And that he believes that he, as a manager, would be able to help her get over that little bit of a hurdle. And I believe it, bro.
I could buy that. Now, the singles guy, holy crap. Jeez. That's a tough one. What roster is he on?
SmackDown.
Okay. Damn. I don't know. I'm stumped.
Austin Theory.
What?
He believes that he is an outstanding superstar and has the it factor. That the manager would be a tremendous upside for him. I would have, bro, if I wouldn't have read that and I would have just read the headline, I would have probably thought Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller, bro, with Jimmy Hart would be nuts. But Austin Theory with the mouth of the South, bro, would just be.
Yeah,
it'd be an Atlanta thing. Grayson Waller would be lit with a manager, bro. Less of him talking.
Especially the way he is. Come on, yeah.
Theory. I don't necessarily think you need a manager for him. But, you know what, man? For both of them being from Atlanta, Georgia, I really wouldn't hate that. I would not hate that at all.
Me either. I'd like to see Jimmy Hart back in WWE. Maybe I'll hit up that complaint line and that hotline for WWE. Don't forget to scour the page at Real88 at REELEIGHTY8, the number 8, and at THEPLUNDER 2023.
Well, for the final topic for the final episode of Pancakes and Powerbombs, bro. We've talked about it for quite a few weeks now. Actually, a few months now. But last night on the main event after SmackDown, the dark match, we had not only did Liv Morgan pop out on SmackDown and defend her title against Kairi Sane successfully, but Jey Uso has defeated Drew McIntyre for the 7th time in 4 months. They're still pushing McIntyre heavily, man. This is time that I believe you need to get on that Yeet train. And they need to get behind Jay, the same way they're getting behind guys like McIntyre.
Totally agree.
Maybe,
Totally agree.
maybe Jay is the one that can defeat Bronson Reed. I still am saying Gunther, bro. I'm still saying Jay beats Gunther because he was robbed during that Intercontinental title match and never got a true rematch for it.
Right. I
Why
agree.
not let that happen? But maybe you let him beat Braun Breaker. Spear for spear.
I think that's pretty much, to me, I think that's the best storyline. You could go with the Gunther. I like that storyline and Jay taking that title from him. But I personally, I don't give a shit. They could give it to him right now, and it could make a big difference, in my opinion. They can wait and build up towards maybe the end of the year. Maybe in a December PLE. So, what a way to kick off the holidays, having the championship be put on Yeetmas. So
Yeah, that would be cool.
or maybe day.
Have that as like a
Look,
salute to
how
the
about day
troops or
one?
something like
How
that
about day
moment.
one? How about day one?
Hey, maybe you do it on Raw, when they do Raw on Netflix. That'd be very interesting new era to kick off.
I mean, telling you. But see, yeah, money down since day
That'd be money.
one-ish. Trying to tell you.
Yeah. Well, really, all we got for the final episode, man. It's been fun doing this. We're not done though.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've saw the transition. I felt the transition coming a little while, when a lot of football faded out, and I saw the shift in U-turn, and I was okay with that because I had the other side covered for sure. But there wasn't a lot. And to be fair to everybody involved, the audience, there was a quiet off season in the NFL this year, and there wasn't much that went on this year, and it really helped us focus our creativity towards bringing the show in a wrestling format completely, because we did many shows that were just wrestling involved. And
Yeah.
To come to what it's come to bring the Plunder, because this show has helped the Plunder grow. This show is a big part of why the Plunder's growth is in effect right now. And I'm forever grateful for all of it, and I can't wait for heel turn. It's definitely going to be a fun thing.
Yes, sir. So just to clarify, next Friday night following SmackDown, we're just gonna do our Bash in Berlin prediction show. We'll have everybody on board, and we'll just we haven't figured out if we'll carry it under the pancake or powerbomb or a heel turn action. But we'll be sitting here. We'll be giving predictions. We'll be going over Bash in Berlin. We'll also, depending on how everything's going, we might also do a post show just to see how we fare.
And don't forget to tune in tonight, later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We've got the Buccaneers Plunder version of the season predictions. We're going to go over the 53-man roster, the division and conference championships, as well as the wild card teams. We'll go ahead and throw who we believe is going to make the playoff pictures complete, and then we'll throw out the Super Bowl winners. We'll also give our predictions to the Buccaneer records with the losses to what teams that will be included. So be tuned in at 7 p.m. Eastern for that.
Yes, sir. And then in 2 weeks, bro, we're going full-fledged. It's 2 solo acts going at it to have some fun. I can't wait. Hey, I can't wait for what heel turn is going to be.
It's going to be exciting. I really love the idea that you came up with, and dude, I dove in head first. It was a cool idea. I think it's going to work. Fans are going to love it.
Absolutely, man. But until tonight.
All right, brother. Till tonight. Later on.